They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Had me scared there for just a moment, Marty. I could see peripherally the monitor to my left was dark as you gave me the 1. But apparently all is well in the world in that regard. Now, woo-sa, woo-sa. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you and yours roughly some 24 hours ago. We start today's show talking about COVID here in the great state of Louisiana and how yesterday, you know how you have gut feelings about things when there are things that are particularly of interest to you and you have followed them for a while. You develop almost innately the ability to say to yourself, oh, this is not going to be good. Yesterday, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, more commonly known by the acronym the BESE Board, met to decide exactly what authority do they have when it comes to mask mandates in schools. And of course, as you would rightfully imagine, a large number of people showed up to weigh in. And as you might imagine as well, quite a few of those folks turned up without wearing masks, intent on voicing their displeasure with mask mandates. After a while, what I figured would happen, the meeting was adjourned after those in attendance refused to mask up. What transpired yesterday, my humble opinion only, is the ever-growing level of angst, frustration, and outright displeasure with doublespeak. You've seen it all across the country, and it only stands to reason that if you see it just about every place else, it's just a matter of time before it's going to arrive where you are. The level of frustration among parents is almost palpable. You can literally feel the frustration. And as Americans, most of us are of the opinion you have the right to air your grievances. You have the right to make your opinions known. And for millions of Americans all across this country, particularly as it pertains to education and the setting in a classroom, many are frustrated with what's going on across the country. It is part and parcel, again, my humble opinion only, of a larger problem. The American public feels as though the information that they have been given doesn't add up. The information, the science that we've been led to believe was absolute is actually not. And as a result, the frustration that you saw yesterday at that meeting is not going to stop anytime soon, y'all. As a matter of fact, history is replete with examples where the longer you allow something to go on, the greater the repercussions, the ramifications end up being. I don't see this as being any different. I really don't. And at the end of the day, the whole situation is made worse. It's compounded by the fact that the media and big tech, not to mention the government, continues to try and censor, if not outright cancel, dissenting opinions. It makes you wonder, are we still the land of the free and the home of the brave? Now, something else happened in education, quote unquote, circles yesterday that caught my eye as well. Yesterday, on the campus of Southern University here in Baton Rouge, acclaimed rapper Lil Boosie held a vaccine event on campus. It's my understanding he is scheduled to perform later in the week. I think it's called the Boosie Bash. Marty, you would know better than I would. Marty said, "Don't look at me, I'm white." Don't look at the white boy. I can't tell you. I think it's called the Boosie Bash. But prior to that, he decided to hold a vaccine event. Now, I guess I have to understand the power of celebrity. I mean, we've seen it over and 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 over again. If so-and-so says it, then, okay, I'll buy into it. What is troubling to me, more so than anything, is that this is an institution of higher learning. It's a college, a university. It is a place where you go to expand your horizons. You are in the midst of an institution that has access to more knowledge regarding research than most other places. You are in a setting where, at least it used to be, where you had access to more dissenting or different opinions than any other place on the planet. And you were at a place where you were training your mind to get ready to deal with the myriad of things that surround adulthood. And when it comes to allowing someone to put something in your body, something that none of us yet know what the long-term effects are going to be, if you're sitting on the fence deciding, should I get the shot? Should I not get the shot? The tipping point, apparently, for, it's estimated in the neighborhood of 200 of these young people, was because Lil Boosie told you to do it. Now listen, y'all, again, I understand America has this fascination with celebrities. Even though celebrities, after they make these grandiose statements, accusations, characterizations, generalizations, are typically proven wrong more times than they are right, we still have this fascination with them. Maybe, just maybe, that's why the White House, a few weeks ago, announced this initiative to have social media influencers spread the word about the COVID vaccine. Now, for the record, there are those who are best served by a vaccine. If you have the existing comorbidities, it's in your best interest. If you are suffering from high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, COPD, any number of ailments, your survivability is compromised because of these existing comorbidities. But for young, strong, healthy individuals, the survivability rate for all but the upper end of the spectrum, us old folks, is greater than 99%. Matter of fact, the majority of folks that get it will never even know they had it. But in a setting the likes of an institution of higher learning, with access to research, knowledge, information, to make a decision that could have potentially lifelong ramifications based on what a rapper tells you, says a lot about what we've become. We're coming up on our first break. When we come back, y'all, it is time for the adults in the room to have a conversation that's overdue. That's next, after our first break on today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda. every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you were with us heading into the last break, and particularly for those of you that weren't, I teased the following segment under the banner of it's time for the adults in the room to have a conversation. Let me start by asking / making a statement. For those of you that don't know, and I know for a fact that many of you do, I am in that number. Those of us that have gone through having a family member that is dealing with either dementia or full-blown Alzheimer's, we know that there comes a point in time where you've got to take the car keys from them. Because if you don't, they will get behind the wheel of the car to go down the street to a church member's house or around the corner to a store to get a bottle of garlic or box of salt or whatever. And they'll end up 3 states away. No clue where they are, how they got there, or how to get back home. Those of us that have dealt with a family member dealing with dementia or full-blown Alzheimer's, we know there comes a point where you cannot let that loved one cook in the kitchen because they will leave inadvertently the stove on or the oven on and burn the house down in the middle of the night, killing everyone sleeping inside. It is uncomfortable. It is bothersome. It is something no one looks forward to. But it's something you've got to entertain, not only for the well-being of that loved one, but for everyone else that resides in the house. Apparently, the left, particularly the media, mainstream media, is afraid to say it. Enter your buddy Clarence. You know me, I'm old school. I tell it like it is, and don't care who doesn't like it, because all I'm telling you is the truth. Now, if you got a problem with what I say, your problem is not with me. Your problem is with the truth. That's a personal problem. That's a different show for a different day. But the fact of the matter is, America, Joe Biden is compromised. Joe Biden, President of the United States of America and the leader of the entire freaking free world, is not all there. He's not. Let's, as adults in the room, let's be honest about this. We are talking international standing, national security, and the future of this republic. President Joe Biden is not all there. End of discussion. I take no pleasure, and I get no warm fuzzy out of having to say this. But I love my country. I love the freedoms, the rights, the liberties. I love the standing that our allies and the rest of the world, we enjoy with them. And we are watching this crumble before our very eyes. Yesterday, after coming back to the White House from Camp David, reading a statement, turning his back and walking out on the press without taking one freaking question about the biggest foreign policy debacle maybe in the history of this country, Joe Biden yesterday comes back to the White House, delivers a PSA on COVID. When he finishes, he turns and walks out of the room again without answering a single question about Afghanistan. Now, when did we arrive at a point in time where in this country we can watch a country be completely overrun? Someplace we've been for 20 years, spent over $1 trillion, watch it collapse almost overnight, and the leader of this nation and the free freaking world in a room full of reporters will not answer a single question. Now, the blowback from all of this, I read one story yesterday that said Joe delivered his PSA, turned and walked out as the media were throwing questions at him about Afghanistan, staring in disbelief. You mean to tell me this is the second time he's been in the room with us since all of this started, and he still hasn't answered a single question? So the blowback apparently started getting to the White House. So what did they do? They arranged a one-on-one with George Stephanopoulos of ABC News. George is on the list, right, of approved individuals. So George Stephanopoulos says, tell me, Mr. President, what was going through your mind when you saw the video, like we all saw, of people rushing the tarmac, climbing on planes, falling out of planes to their death? What was going through your mind when you saw this? Joe Biden told George Stephanopoulos, what are you talking about? That was 5 days ago. When in actuality, it was the day before yesterday. And of course, George Stephanopoulos, being the good cover guy of the mainstream media for this administration that he is, didn't press him on the issue. He didn't say, excuse me, Mr. President, that was not 5 days ago. That was actually day before yesterday. But it gets worse. In that same interview, George Stephanopoulos asked, well, is there something we could have done better? Now that you've, looked at it a little bit, analyzed it, talked with your intelligence people, is there something we could have done different? Old Joe is consistent if he ain't nothing else. He said, nah, this was inevitable. Y'all, the man is not all there. Listen, I've been there and done that. I will never forget my late father, after serving this country for 27 years, wearing the uniform of the United States Army, had to have surgery once, late in his life. And we could see some early signs of dementia then. So after his surgery, I go up to see him and say, hey, Daddy, how you doing? How'd you sleep last night? Oh, I didn't sleep too well. I said, you in pain? He said, no. I said, well, why didn't you sleep well last night? He said, man, them damn Germans kept me up all night. And I realized in between the touch of dementia added to the anesthesia for the surgery, bless his heart, he didn't know where he was. He was flashing back to his service in World War II, and the Germans were shooting, and them damn Germans kept me up all night, quote, unquote. Now, as troubling as this is, it goes a whole lot deeper than this, y'all. And we got to talk. If you are not one of the adults in the room, please leave, because this is grown folk talking today. If you are not comfortable talking about life experiences and how best to deal with them, There's this magical invention called a remote control. You need to find something else to watch because the adults in the room are having a conversation today. Let me get this bottom of the hour break out of the way. I'm going to show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes. That's next as we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you are just joining us, first of all, shame on you. Where have you been all morning? Second, we are having what I call an adult conversation today. If you are one of those that's not comfortable with the uncomfortable episodes of life, this is not for you. If you are one of those that has become so partisan when it comes to politics that you are willing to ignore reality, this conversation's not for you. You're not grown enough. If you're one of those who makes it a point to worship at the altar of the mainstream media, this conversation, you ain't grown enough. The fact of the matter is, my fellow Americans, President Joe Biden is compromised. He is not all there. He's not. And the fact of the matter is, anybody who's been around someone suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's, or just diminished mental capacity, you don't have to be around them very long before you realize something is wrong here. Here's my point. His inner circle, his handlers, the entire hierarchy of the Democrat Party and those who ran his campaign, there is no way on God's green earth they didn't know this, and they ran him anyway. There is no conceivable way anybody that spent any amount of time with Joe Biden before winning the presidency did not know. And they ran him anyway. Now listen, I've been covering politics longer than some of y'all been alive. So I understand that there are folks out there that will do all sorts of unspeakable things in an effort to either gain or maintain power. I get it. I understand wholeheartedly that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I get it. But this is our country we're talking about, y'all. We are the beacon on the hill that everyone else around the planet looks to. What in God's name do you think they are saying about us? If they can see it, and they don't even live here. But see, that's what happens when you have a mainstream media whose sole objective is to run cover for a political party. There is no way the folks that ran Joe Biden didn't know he's not all there. And in typical Democrat, liberal, progressive fashion, what did they do? They paired him with a running mate that couldn't get 6% of the support from our own freaking party. You see how they play you? Now, yesterday, as if this whole thing could not get any more bizarre, as if, Clarence, I think Democrats have finally got to the point where they can't get any more stupid. Yesterday, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, because he's concerned about the rights, the liberties, and the safety of women and girls in Afghanistan, he calls, apparently, what he thought was a Democrat who could share in his concern and maybe do something to help the women and girls left behind in Afghanistan. So who does Justin Trudeau call? Hillary freaking Clinton. Listen, y'all, when your immediate neighbor to the north, Canada, watching a disaster unfold as is the rest of the planet, and he's concerned, he doesn't call the president, he calls Hillary Clinton. Now, speaking of Hillary Clinton, am I the only one that sees a pattern here? Am I the only one? Think about this. The last time the Democrats had control of the White House, we lost an embassy and American lives. 3 syllables, y'all. Benghazi. Remember that? The last time Democrats were in charge of the White House, we lost an embassy and American lives. The next time following that Democrats are in charge of the White House, we lost an entire freaking country. And God only knows how many lives ultimately are going to be lost in Afghanistan. Many of those lives will probably be taken using weapons paid for by the American tax-paying public and left behind or handed over to the bad guys. Am I the only one that sees a freaking pattern here? Marty's over there. I do. The last time they were in charge, we lost an embassy and American lives. The very next time they're back in the White House, we lose a whole freaking country. Are you seeing a pattern here? And yet, if you believe the numbers, 80 million of y'all voted for this crap. We tried to tell you. God knows we tried to tell y'all. You called us all sorts of ugly names. You're sending us rolls of rental wrap. Wrap your head, tinfoil, conspiracy theorists. How's that working out for you now? How is keeping inflation in check as we restart the economy, how's that working out for you? Keeping crime from going even higher than the ungodly numbers we have all across the country now, how's that working out for you? Having to beg for gasoline from folks that don't particularly like us, how's that working out for you? Stopping the spread of COVID variants, how's that working out for you? Stopping folks from coming across the border, and leave it to a Democrat. Leave it to a Democrat to give you a compound problem. We don't just have millions of folks coming across the border illegally, they're coming across and spreading COVID. How is that working out for you? Now, Afghanistan. Oh, but wait, it gets better. We still have 3 years and change left to go. Listen, y'all. It is time for the adults in the room to have the freaking conversation. Joe Biden is not all there. End of discussion. He's not. And if you care more about seeing your party cast in a favorable light than you do our standing in the international community, not to mention our national security, you the freaking problem. You are the problem. The man is not all there. And the sooner we come to that realization and conduct ourselves accordingly, the sooner we will act like adults. I have a dear friend whose mother battling Alzheimer's. It was not comfortable having to make the decision, we've got to take her keys. It was not comfortable making the decision, we can't allow her in the kitchen to cook a snack. She will burn the house down and kill everybody living here. That's a reality. Adults have these conversations, as uncomfortable as they are, as unpleasant as they are. But they're adults. It's what we do. And at the end of the day, having a compromised individual inhabit the White House under the banner of being the leader of the free world, my child could make a better decision than that. But that, my fellow Americans, is where we find ourselves. If you are so fortunate as to be able to honestly say, Clarence, I see what you're saying, but I can't relate because nobody in my family has ever suffered from dementia and or Alzheimer's. If you are so fortunate, count your blessings. But keep living, because it's coming. I only hope, if and when it arrives, that you will be among the adults in the room. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back for the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, it is a part of life, and it is predestined, preordained, if you will, that as a member of the human species, you're going to make mistakes in life. Well, unless you're Marty, okay? But if you're human, you're going to make mistakes. Americans, particularly, love a good comeback story. We love an underdog. We love seeing someone that did something really stupid be contrite, apologize sincerely, and lay out a plan to do better in the future. Remember as kids when we got caught violating the rules of the household and our parents found out, and it was come to Jesus time, also known as the beginning of the dispensing of corporal punishment. If you had really good parents that took that job seriously, they would ask you, what have you learned from this? And how are you going to do better in the future? That was the beginning of the healing process. The beginning of acknowledging you understood full well what your transgression was, the beginning of showing that you were sorry about it, not that you got caught, but that you did what you did. And not only have you learned from it, but this is what I'm going to do different in the future to be sure it never happens again. Right now, we are in this country dealing with a crisis of confidence and trust in the federal government. Some of you would say, Clarence, state government and local government too, but that's a different show for a different day. If, in fact, the Biden administration, Democrats / liberals / progressives, if they care at all about restoring faith and trust, it's real easy to fix this. It's real easy to fix it. First and foremost is acknowledgement. Yeah, it pains me to say it, but we screwed that up. We could have done a lot better. My apologies. It shouldn't have gone that way. And had we put more thought into it, had we analyzed the intelligence, the information there, we could have done a better job. First and foremost, that says to me, you don't think I'm a freaking moron after all. Number one. Number two, after your sincerest apology, now let me tell you what we learned from this. Let me tell you where we're going from this point forward so that it never happens again. We hadn't seen any of this. We haven't seen or heard any of this. Not only have we not seen or heard any of that, we hadn't heard or seen any of a damn thing, because the guy won't even talk to America. Well, he'll read a PSA or a statement and then turn his little happy-go-lucky behind around and walk right out without answering a single question. You know, typically people that do that sort of thing, they typically think one of two things. Either, number one, I'm smarter than everybody else. They'll never figure this out because they're not as smart as me. They either think that, or option two, y'all so freaking stupid you'll never see it. Which one do you think it is? Marty said, number three, all of the above. Which one do you think it is? Y'all do realize we are watching the greatest foreign policy blunder maybe in the history of this nation. And we have yet to see the leader of the free world talk to the American people, the press, and answer questions. I'm going to say what I got to say, and to hell with your questions. I'm not answering them. I'm going to tell you what I want you to, what I want to say, and I'm out of here. Really? That's America? Meanwhile, a second in command that is nowhere to be found. Heads of so-called intelligence agencies making us look like complete freaking buffoons to the rest of the civilized world. You see now why for 41 years I have been imploring you, begging you, pleading with you to do your due diligence on the people you vote for. You see now why it's so vitally important? Now that you're on the verge of watching international embarrassment with your name on it, standing on the precipice of losing your freedoms, your rights, and your liberties, taken away by the people you voted for, maybe now you start to see it. I can only hope. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But this day, with all this going on, definitely more than any other, I give it to you. You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, still the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize by now that he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. The Exiles are up next on Pelican TV. Have a great weekend. Love you much.